Hi guys, I hope you're all keeping well and safe. Welcome to another episode of Early Years Matters TV. On today's episode of Early Years Matters TV, I'm going to be focusing on how to create an engaging early childhood classroom. Yes, this discussion is going to be all about how to create an engaging early childhood classroom. You, an early childhood educator or an imagined early childhood educator, pondering on how to create an engaging early childhood classroom, don't go anywhere. This video is for you. So in this video, I'm going to be giving out tips in relation to how to create an engaging early childhood classroom. So now let's dive into it. In relation to creating an engaging early childhood classroom, you have to think about safety and accessibility. Yes. Safety and accessibility is one of the things you have to consider in relation to creating an engaging early childhood classroom. So in relation to creating an engaging early childhood classroom for young children, you have to think about the safety of the children at every point in time. In relation to everything that you do, the safety of the children should come first. So for instance, safety in relation to the preschool environment, you have to think about the safety, ensure that the children are going to be safe at every point in time. For instance, in relation to flooring as well, you have to think of safety, make sure that the floor is not slippery. For instance, if the floor is wet, you mop it, you put a signage there so the children will know that the area is wet. So all of this is elements of ensuring safety in order to create an engaging early childhood classroom. So you have to ensure that the environment is safe for the children, is conducive and safe for the children. Safety in relation to materials and resources as well. For instance, toy. So if you're purchasing toys, you have to think about the safety of the children. Think about the age group of the children that you're working with. For instance, if you're working with babies, so in relation to the toys, you have to ensure that the toy is soft, they are not small, that the children used to just put these toys into their mouth. So all of this has to do with safety as well. In relation to safety, there's a lot that you have to take into consideration. Safety in relation to the door. For instance, babies, for instance, they are crawling around. The doors will be closed because yourself, they could cut their hands on the door. So all of this has to do with as well. Safety in terms of the room layout, the feasibility of the room, in relation to the room layout, the flooring, the toys, where are you going to position the materials. So all of this has to do with safety. Now let's talk about accessibility. In relation to creating an engaging preschool environment, you have to ensure that it's accessible for the children. The room have to be accessible. For instance, there should be enough room where the children can move around. This is why the adult to staff ratio is always very important in an early childhood classroom. In relation to the adult to staff ratio, so for instance, if you have about 4 babies to 2 staff, so you have to ensure that there's enough space for the babies to crawl. There's enough space for the baby to stand, for to do with accessibility as well. So the babies can crawl, they can move around, they are not limited in relation to there's not enough room for them. So in relation to engaging preschool classroom, you have to think about safety at every point in time in relation to everything that you're doing in your early childhood classroom. The safety of the children must come first. You have to think about the safety. You have to think about accessibility as well, how the room will be accessible to the children, that they can move around, that they're not limited. So this is one element of how to create an engaging preschool classroom. To talk about adaptability. Yes, so in relation to creating an engaging preschool classroom, you have to think of your adaptability as well. You need to understand that the children that you're going to have in your early childhood classroom, they're coming from different backgrounds. Some of these children might have additional needs. So in relation to this, you have to think about adaptability. For instance, toys. So let's say you have a toy and you have maybe a child in your early childhood classroom that is on a wheelchair. So you need to think about how you're going to adapt this toy to suit the needs of those children. So for instance, if the children are going to go outside as well, for instance, the playground. So you have to think about the child on wheelchair in relation to how the environment to be accessible to all the children, inclusive of this child we are talking about. So all of this has to do with adaptability as well. So you're thinking about the children in your early childhood classroom. You're thinking about the children that has additional needs, autism, ADHD, for instance. In relation to adaptability as well, we're talking about the noise level as well. So for instance, in your early childhood classroom, if you have a child that has autism, ADHD, so you have to think about the noise, you have to think about color as well, you have to think about the decoration in the room. All of this has to do with adaptability as well. You're adapting the environment to suit the needs of the children in your early childhood classroom. So this is of creating an engaging school classroom. So you have to think about the children you have in your early childhood classroom. What are their needs? What are their strengths? How are you going to adapt the environment to suit the needs of the children? About the color, the deco, the room layout, the noise level, the space adaptability, even in terms of the toy as well, to suit the needs of the children in your early childhood classroom. So this is also an element of how to create an engaging preschool classroom. Going to talk about inclusivity, a sense of belonging. So it's important that you ensure the children in your early childhood classroom have a sense of belonging. Let them feel that they belong into this early childhood classroom. When you do this, you're definitely going to facilitate an engaging early childhood classroom. For instance, if the children see that they are well represented, they see that they belong into the early childhood classroom, it could be simple things such as smiling in the morning, you're welcoming them. How are you boys and girls today? How was your weekend? Did you do anything fun last night? You're smiling, you're singing a welcoming songs, you're singing. It has to do with inclusivity as well. You have a child that has additional needs, you're thinking about how you're going to ensure that they're included in whatever that you do in your early childhood curriculum. Have a sense of belonging, that they belong into the early childhood classroom. They'll be able to thrive. They want to express in the classroom. For instance, just as an adult as well, you go to a place and nobody's saying hello to you, you're just left on your own. How are you going to feel? You're going to feel that you don't belong there. You're going to feel that you don't, because you're not welcome there. But you go into an environment where everybody's smiling at you, they're saying hello to you. How are you going to feel? You're going to feel love, you're going to feel welcome. The same thing as well. They want to be in an environment where they feel safe. They want to be in an environment where they are welcome. They want to be in an environment where they can thrive. So all of this has to do with including feel that they have a sense of belonging. They belong to the setting. They see that they are well represented. For instance, it could be simple things such as saying hello in different languages. The children come in, they see the different languages. They see their language as well on the wall. I'm telling you, simple things such as saying hello to you, it might I'm just writing hello in their language is not a big deal, but to the children it's a big deal for them. They see that they have a sense of belonging, they belong into the setting. They're definitely going to thrive. They're going to want to explore more. Simply having books in your early childhood classroom, you stock this off on the shelf. The children are going over, they're picking up different books, they're flipping the pages, they're reading. They have a sense of belonging, that they belong into the setting, and you see that their faces will just brighten up. They're laughing, they're smiling. You might be wondering what's going on. Why are they smiling? Why are they laughing? Because they see that they belong into the preschool setting, and this is going to encourage them to engage. This is going to encourage them to continue in relation to other elements of engaging preschool classroom. If you found this video helpful, kindly subscribe. Not just only subscribe, turn on the notification bell so that whenever a new video is being dropped on this channel, you'll be the first person to be notified. And until I come your way next time, stay safe and mind yourselves for now. Bye.